So I think it's important to note that some of these episodes are going to be incredibly short. Everything that you hear are things that I have written out and that I am now saying to you, sometimes with some extra context, different people's names omitted, but in general, a lot of these are going to be fairly short, something that you can come back to daily, and something that I get to do daily as kind of a cathartic way of doing stuff. So my first episode, I wrote first thing in the morning, probably like at 2 a.m. in the morning, on 11th of May, and this is the continuation of that day, my official post for it. The 11th of May, 2023. Today was good, but it was tough. I went to the gym today for the very first time in years. I have been psyching myself up for weeks, wishing to go, then talking myself out of it. I hate the idea of people staring at me. I know this is a fear that a lot of people have. And for me, I'm a really big guy, both in my weight, but also in my height. So I'm over 6'7". And when I walk into a room, people notice. And when I was younger, that didn't really mean anything to me. But as I have gotten more and more touch with my introversion, it started to bother me more and more. Then once 2020 happened, my social anxiety increased tenfold. The staying away from everybody and being super isolated meant that when I came back out, I was riddled with anxiety when it came to leaving my home. I remember I was going up to a buddy's wedding, and well, actually, I think it was a bachelor party, quote unquote. It was going hunting in the middle of Texas. So not a traditional bachelor party, but like we went out there, and it was like 6-hour drive from where I was staying. And the idea of going at that alone and being in a location that did not have a hospital or a place to, rush me in if I, had a heart attack or had some type of problem or blood started coming out of my veins everywhere was absolutely terrifying. You almost develop this kind of like mental handicap, and so that was tons of anxiety. This is going to the gym. And in some ways it's like admitting that you have a problem, and then you're trying to go around all these people. Some of them are as unfit as you, but there's a lot of these people that have made a lifestyle out of this. They're in incredibly good shape. And if it's like a gym just with guys, it's kind of one thing. You don't feel the eyes on you as much. But when there's the opposite sex in the gym, I feel that pressure. And it doesn't matter that I'm married to this beautiful, gorgeous woman who's insanely fit, does not have these issues whatsoever. It's still challenging. So I did not want to go to the gym at all. And I heard, I kept reading things and researching it, and I heard that it was mostly in my head, and that I should not worry about it. The people were, not going to be looking at me. They were just there to work out. And that was so true. It was still not easy to get myself to go. And when I finally went, I was so glad I did. And once I was inside and I walked up to sign in, it was so easy. One of the sounds so bad, but one of the things that made me feel so at home was the lady that was signing me in at the gym. She worked at the gym, was overweight by a fair amount. And that made me feel at home. It made me feel like, you know what? I don't feel like I'm going to be judged by her. And, you know, and on top of that, like you're going to the gym, you're in clothes that maybe they're baggy, but you're not your typical kind of clothes that kind of make you look a little bit better. They're there for you to work out in. So you feel a little bit more self-conscious. And I know I definitely did. But I went in and I went straight for the weights. And I will admit the weight training was rather humbling. Weights, as I found out, do not really suffer egos, I'm afraid. And I saw really quickly that I could not lift half of what I used to lift when I was 16, and could easily like do over shoulders of 300 pounds. And that was very humbling and in some ways very frustrating with myself. But I worked on the chest fly machine, the lat pull down machine, and the leg extension machine. And I did those with 3 sets of 10. So, very, very quick. And then I went and they had a pool, and I swam laps for over 30 minutes, went to the sauna, and then came back to the pool and did water walking for about 10 minutes. And then I finished it all off with one more visit to the sauna. In total, I was in the gym for about 2 hours. But I gotta say, like, my favorite part, the reward for everything was being in the water. I can move so freely when I'm swimming that I just never want to leave. After the first 7 minutes of constant swimming, I can push through the burn and just keep going. And the only reason that I stopped was when I started to have a really bad side cramp that I couldn't seem to work out of at the end of the 30 minutes. And I'm fairly sure that I overdid it. I know that if I tell my mom, who does a lot of fitness stuff, I know that she's going to think I did, but I feel good. I feel accomplished. Now, unfortunately, my heart rate is not going down below the high 80s, low 90s, even after taking some extra magnesium and potassium. But for the first day back in the gym, I'm really happy with myself.